a time we had to come and live in human memory during our one existence together, where they said that because we ported to an existence where the probability and rationality of the living amongst us was so poor and so low, and the IR, being English, was so dirty and hard for the non-English speaking to even cognitively get outside of, like, your level of smart, who have cognitions of being other things and catch on real quick. There's a couple of those left, but unfortunately those are outnumbered by all the really stupid hose children. H-O, lower H. They're just here in is-puted, ISPUTED. They're in an open system where they are like evaporating out if they don't follow directions in a boiling pot of steam and hot water, as their skins, being the S, are not certain as to what outcome they're going to be living in any existence ever. That's the I before the S, with a light over its head. We're still deciding in SciStem and Cycle, based on how they work inside of your O, being in a closed cycle and closed system at the same time. And then we go to, and their P, right, they're grounded in this one. If I could make it a long neck, we just have, I guess it would look like an R, but you'd have to justify the R with the plain line, which in English, dirty English, doesn't use that symbol. So if you cut the, I guess it would be more like an F, but you take the line of the F and you go a little further to the left in the right justification, right? And then you sink the F line down, being grounded, and then the R coming up into like a hose, but like a spigot, just like into the U, like you're not sure what they're gonna be next, or if they'll even just toss it out with the bathwater with the baby, right? So remember when you were like 3 or 4 and you and your love in Loving Memento for the Technics and the Technicolor, when you would go to sleep and they'd port you guys to like that time capsule moment where you would go on the mock trial and explain yourselves and explain to your wake adults back in dipshit land that you were born to, for human verification of this route, to warn the others who were doing stuff with Technics and mock trials and viewing them and studying them, trying to correct the future route so the people in the spigot bowl with all the rest of the dipshits they were born with, right, they could learn something to like fix the, so we don't go on mock trial for real, because that's gonna leave everybody open for, we don't know what we're doing with this brandy bunch of, we don't know, open U from an F going into a U, an FU. Oh, it is an FU. Look at that. We told you from the beginning it was an FU. And it was boiling point, so we didn't know why you'd want to evaporate yourselves. Yeah, that was clear in English and translator, from one little girl's point of view to the one Technicolor boy she was born for at they were 3 and 4 and trying their hardest to remember to wake up and be ported back to like human consciousness, to tell everybody and anybody about what they just dreamed about, to try and fix and have a Technicolor like on trial, like spoken record at the same time. Right, so how did we wind up to this version, which we both stood outside of the car watching the crazy woman going, oh God, that is not what we wanted. Right? Where? Well, first of all, he would never put her in a car purposely by herself. She should be with him. So this day should never ever happen. And if it did, oh yeah, we gave you what you should do to everybody in the PU brandy mix of evaporation in mass quantity. And the 2 children standing outside the car, mortified, absolutely mortified for the female, fertile. That's the most important on this entire frame of reference throughout all space and time. In the clusterfuck is what you fuck, and then you get transported somewhere else, and we own that transport system. At this point, I'm giving it a lower capitulate understanding, but in a secret code that only the other technic can label to keep the other evaporating sequencing off of our system and system and cycle. Are we clear as to your human consciousness? Where you go after life is dependent on what you do and treat the only two living gods in your main frame of reference, and they don't have to tell you how she's doing other than you're not doing enough and what action you need to obey by Niklaus's command of he'll go by Kataruza. My recommendation for him, because I don't command or demand or, he just does on his own to protect us both, since he owns, this is his undercarriage, his fertile egg system, his twin engine belongs to Niklaus. I believe it's Hitler, but I don't have a verification on that, so that's just I said it is, so it is at the moment, and he should be using Kataruza. If it's going to be two heads on one body, use the Kataruza fertile egg body as the grounded force into this mainframe and system and cycle of portability, and then put his head on the same one name stick at the moment for anything legal or legat. Legal, Legal, Legit, and Legat. So we have the trifecta tribunal that have three one-use names for the entire livelihood, lifelike, L-I-F-E, L-I-V-E, L-I-K-E, that he controls, he owns, he uses at will. Whatever wish is his command and direction that he gives to everybody outside of him and I, so this way he can protect me and we could get into one scenery the quickest possible.